its trading strategy short
Morning,
cruise.
afternoon, evening.
Patterns from today are going to make us extra sensitive to a lot of the incoming data, especially around employment.
Just putting on the financial juice stream so we can hear the news as it comes out. So, I got out of that oil this morning. Oil. That one. I put a trailer on it as it was pushing up. So we made a new high above Asia, pulled back, made a new high above that high, and we broke that high. So I put a trailer on because it looked like oil was getting a bit tired up there. So that stopped out there. Bank's just under 1% on it. US dollar Swiss. That 0.5 I had on that I was going to hold, they just stopped me out on it. So I've added it back on again with a decent stop up here. The stop's around just over 1/4%, 1/3% maybe. In fact, I'm going to increase that a little bit. We got this high, yesterday's high, which as NFP is released, anybody short here may well get, if they're going to drop it, they may well spike up, take the liquidity and drop. So I'm just putting my stop a decent distance above there, just in case they come up and grab that and go. I quite like that position. It was about $200 in profit down here, but I was hoping they were going to leave me in it and then maybe get a move, but I have no idea which way it's going to go, obviously, so could go the other way. But hey, that's non-farm payroll. Gambler's paradise. How are we doing? Diamond, Sammy, Jane, Evil, Trevor. So I got financial juice on. We'll hear it come out as it happens. About 10-second delay, not a lot. So yeah, so I'm in a bit of a difficult position here. I've got oil long and I've got US dollar Swiss short. Euro New Zealand I'm short on, and I've got one on the DAX as well. But so whatever happens, something's going to go into profit, I think. I just don't know what, so we'll see. And I'll basically, whatever goes into profit, I'll go into profit and I'll bank some, and then I'll deal with the other one as and when. But forecasts basically are 295, an unemployment rate unchanged. So if we get anything better than that, we'll obviously get usually a big spike.
The headline figure for the day and for the week with the US non-farm payrolls forecast 298k on the prior 528.
I'll just shut him up for a minute because he's just going to waffle on for 5 minutes before it happens. Bank of Canada overnight rate to 3.5 by end of the year. Don't think that's any different to what we were expecting, so I don't think there's been any impact on the CAD. I haven't got any CAD on at the moment, so I've been watching. There's nothing changed on the CAD. So I'm going to watch US dollar Swiss and the S&P. I've got the S&P set up for a scalp. And we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, no idea which way it's going to go. I've got, as I say, I've got positions on if the US dollar spikes, we'll probably see a drop on the indices and vice versa. So I've got a DAX short on. So if you would get a spike on the US dollar, the DAX will come down and that will go into profit. If it goes the other way, the DAX will go into drawdown and the US dollar Swiss will go into profit. The US dollar Swiss have got a chance of getting out on this. If we get a 1.5 ADR hit, I'm just going to put TPs down there. Yeah, Just getting out my manual positions. Lower down in case we get a big spike today. You know what's going to happen, don't you? They're going to release it and it's going to just go nowhere. Which has happened many times when we've done these live streams before. It doesn't go anywhere. Got 3 minutes. So Euro New Zealand's the only other position I've got on at the moment. That's come down this morning. A few ADRs we've had hit this morning. Euro Swiss, big move up on Euro Swiss. And New Zealand has collapsed. Now that I'm out of that one. I'm not out of that one actually. Got that one on in here. I'm just going to bank that sell. Oh, I'm hedging this. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, close that. Going to bank that. Right, ADR. Bank 1.37% today on the funded account. I need to keep an eye on this as well because I may well need to get out some of this fast too. ADR on New Zealand dollars behind me. Look at that. Big strong New Zealand dollar today and a weak Swiss franc. Hence New Zealand dollar Swiss doing the biggest move so far. Right, put financial juice on.
Ten seconds.
10 seconds. Negative US.
315k, 315k, higher than the forecast of 298k. US unemployment rate 3.7%, 3.7%, higher than the forecast of 3.5%. US private payrolls at 308k, 308k, higher than the forecast of 300k. US average workweek hours 34.5, 34.5, lower than the forecast of 34.6. US average earnings month over month at 0.3%, 0.3%, lower than the expected 0.4%. US manufacturing payrolls 22k, 22k, higher than the forecast of 15k. US labour force participation 62.4%, 62.4%, higher than the forecast of 62.2%. US average earnings year over year at 5.2%, 5.2%, lower than the expected 5.3%. So for Canada, labour productivity rates at 0.2%, 0.2%. Looking to the markets here, S&P 500 moving towards the upside, Dixie seems to moving towards the downside, WTI crude also moving towards the upside as well.
Okay.
So just to go over this again, US
So,
non-farm
mixed
payroll
result.
higher than expected at 315.
Mixed result. So we should see some whips on. I'm just going to try a quick short on the S&P. See if we can fade this whipsaw. Okay, it's closed. That's 0.5%. Quick fade. We may well push back up from there. So we didn't quite get the highs taken out. They took the highs and the lows of the last sort of half an hour. So we'll see where they go from here. Because it's mixed news, there's no real directional bias. If it was all positive or all negative, you'd see a much stronger move, but we've got mixed news on it. So it's a bit of a whipsaw. I suspect that S&P will come straight back down to source. Holding up at the moment though. So we've got positive move on oil. We're in New Zealand's whipped as well. Afternoon ladder, Neo, December. Looks like we've got a bit of strength coming into the Swiss franc at the moment. Off the back of that, that's why US dollar Swiss is whipsawing. If you look at the other US dollar, they're coming down as the indices are pumping, which is the normal reaction. US dollar Swiss is holding central, but that's because there's a load of money being put into Swissy now. That pumping the Swiss franc. Turn the volume down. Way too high. Okay, so you've got a lot of potential ADR reversals opportunities. So anything with downward trend, things like New Zealand dollar, US dollar, hitting up to the upside there. Obviously 4 hour we're looking negative, so we're looking for short opportunities. So anything that's hit to the upside, potentially opportunities to get in. Weekly range on the New Zealand dollar. That's my it's the end of the week, and it's Friday. I'll take that. I'm just going to try and fade this gap on the S&P. Oil's pulling back a little bit as well. Okay, I'm going short one on the S&P. Stop above the highs here. Add a second position. Break there. Look to get out of the lows. Was the US taking out yesterday's high? Looks like it's positive indices. So that's going to stop out that S&P. What's that? So we should see this potentially, could go either way, the US dollar Swiss, to be honest. We've got a long way to go to ADR on the S&P, and obviously the market hasn't opened, so I'm not going to try and scout this anymore because it does look like it's bullish. So I'm going to look at this afternoon in an hour, when the New York exchange opens. I'm going to look to fade this move and see if we can scout this afternoon. No reason why that should be pumping apart from manipulation. I'm just wondering where they're going for with that. A bit there. There's plenty of places we could get selling pressure coming in on this move. As we start to break down here, could get selling pressure out of there, but there's all these areas up around ADR as well. We've also got this whacking great gap on that drop. So, but we were expecting that pullback today, which looks like it's what they're using the non-farm to do. So positive indices, negative US dollar is what the likely outcome will be for the rest of the day. We will see. Just going to hang around for a bit and to see if this moves anymore. Yeah, that was an unfortunate little scalp. Got one scalp worked, the other one didn't, which is annoying. But that's news trading. Very, very hit and miss. Not on movement. Nothing much to report there, look. No big spikes, no ADRs hit. Bit of a dead fish this one, unfortunately. Damp squid, whatever you want to call it. Not much movement. Shame. Nice liquidity run on pound US and euro US. Looks good for shorts. Aussie US taking yesterday's high. Same with New Zealand US taking yesterday's high and ADR. I'm going to try one more on the S&P. Fairly decent rejection wicks there. A bit early on the candle. It's got 3 minutes left on the candle yet, so this could end up bullish. But your US dollar yen they just ran the London liquidity basically. Couldn't get Asia. I mean, from a fundamental perspective, there's no difference really there. ever so slightly more people unemployed. The average earnings are down ever so slightly. It's not really bullish or bearish, so not quite sure. I think what you'll probably find is, as has happened on the US dollar yen, they'll just undo that move, and then this afternoon we'll do whatever they want to do with it. There's nothing that's going to make it move in either direction been announced there at all. Hence, play the fade. There's whipsaws everywhere. Nothing much moving off the back of that. So anything that's just hit ADR potentially is worth a fade if you want to take any ADRs. So Aussie Swiss. Whoops, wrong one. Aussie Swiss, they've just run yesterday's high, previous day's high. Those shorts have gone, so potentially that could come down on Swiss franc strength. Aussie yen. Well, Aussie yen is kind of a long. CAD Swiss. Difficult one, that. CAD Swiss. Particularly interested in that one. Euro Swiss. Nice looking short opportunity on Euro Swiss. Good rejection to the upside there. Sorry, I'm just watching what's going on. Euro yen. That's not very good. Pound Swiss. So pound Swiss is a nice looking opportunity potentially. We didn't get the liquidity run at these highs. This area obviously support resistance. We didn't quite get up into it. We just made another lower high potentially for a continuation down on some Swiss franc strength. So that's not a bad looking ADR reversal. As with all non-farming, you're always going to get the reversal alert coming really late, because obviously by its definition we get a big spike to the upside, so it's quite hard to get into them. But you just want to get in at ADRs. Pound New Zealand is a short. New Zealand CAD. We missed it. New Zealand Swiss looks like a good looking short. Nearly 150 ADR on that one. That's just taken out all the liquidity up here. Those shorts. That's a good looking short. So a few good fade opportunities. Not really interested in fading the yen. Just going to put a break even on that. Okay, so as this returns back to origin, that's basically the move over. So we should just get stuff starting to return back to normal now. So hopefully we'll get a liquidity run of these highs, and then potentially a drop. Let's see. Don't do it. Oh, look at it. It's a tease. No, closing it. I'm not letting it do that. You always just like go like that. Would have taken me out of break even anyway. That was too close. That was too close to call. That was not. I'm not taking the profit. I'm sure it's going to come down and fill the gap, but not being that brave. Missed it by 5 pips. Okay, so that's probably class that's done. So potentially we could start that push now, the pullback on the daily on the indices that we were looking for. So in theory, now non-farm's out of the way, this afternoon we could get a push up towards ADR, in which case it'd be a good area to start shorting all the indices. DAX is doing the same thing, obviously. Big push up. So looking to get some short opportunities on DAX. Getting my second position on this afternoon. When we get an alert, which won't be till down there, which is too close. So I'll just wait on that one. Not particularly interesting, was it? Just a whipsaw, really. Unfortunately. Anybody scalp anything, make anything, do anything? Couldn't bank anything. Oil's pushing nicely still. So we've got continuation on the oil move. It's just taking out that liquidity there, potentially. But it's interesting. We looked at this morning, when we were in the live room this morning, we looked at the comparison between oil and the US dollar last month on non-farm payroll. US dollar pumped, so did oil. This time, US dollar dumped, oil's pumped. So there's no confluence between the two, no connection between the two, it seems, because the US dollar came down hard on that news, and oil pushed up on the news. So, yeah. Christian took a nice short on Nasdaq. Cool. Yeah, nothing much else. So it's just a case really of wait for this volatility to calm down, and then when New York opens, we'll probably just get business as usual. So I don't think I'm going to bank much else on that. I'm going to let my oil position run. I've got one in profit. I don't really want to take that off though. I think we've hit the low on that. Euro New Zealand, I've got some in profit on that. I'm going to leave that on as well. That's been coming down fairly nicely this morning, so hopefully we'll just get a continuation short on the euro this afternoon with New York. Just need to get this Asian low breaking, which we didn't quite come down the sweep. And US dollar Swiss rejecting those highs, but not quite taking out that high. So I'm going to leave that stop in place. So this is an aggressive position I've just put on here, this 50 short, which is the one I had on before this morning, which they took me out on at break even. So I'm going to hope that we get some downside on the US dollar this afternoon, and then I'll take some of this off down here and do a little drawdown control on whatever needs doing this afternoon. So I've got what have I banked this week? 3.2% so far. for the month, so I'm going to use a little bit of that to do some DD control. David, yes, 30 in GC small scalp. We might find that we put a new lower high in here and just come down and actually get back down to source. So if you want to try another scalp on this, somewhere around there, anywhere around here really, I will be looking short. It's either going to market structure is either going to they're going to do that, or we've done the high and we're going to put in a new lower high and come back down and get this completely refilled and just come back down to where we were. There's your short there, stop above the high, TP down there. Depends which way your bias is. It's a hard one, the indices at the moment, because we're not sure how much of this pullback we're going to get. This could be the pullback, that could be it, and we could dump this afternoon, which would be nice. So I got my back short one, but let's see. Right, well that was it. That was a bit of a non-event, wasn't it? Got some movement, but nothing particularly dramatic, which is a shame. So we will see what happens this afternoon. We might get some more movement this afternoon. What's that whack and great line? Well, that wasn't true. Yeah, so that's it really. I'll update on anything else I'm closing out this afternoon. The only thing I'm going to be looking to close out, if it goes my way, is the Euro New Zealand and some oil. And obviously depending on what happens with the US dollar Swiss this afternoon. So at the moment there's not really any indication as to which way this thing wants to go this afternoon, but I've got a feeling they may well come and do this liquidity run. So if they can do that, I think we've got a good hard drop potentially in the cards. Let's see. Right, I will leave it there, guys. Not much else to really look at. So I'll be back on Monday morning at 7:50. ADR reversals, obviously just keep an eye on those. Quite a few ADR opportunities now. Anything against the US dollar, really. Anything that's pushed up, which is in a downtrend. Nothing much else on these. We've got two new hits today on the yens, the euro and the CAD yen, which have all hit to the upside. As I say, I'm looking for longs, so I'm not interested in any of those, really, as reversions. And pound US dollars hit the downside, which is a short. So there's nothing on the RSI dashes either. In fact, that was the entry. This should have just taken a short up there, shouldn't we? Not watching that in a minute. Right, I'll leave it there. If you've got anything else you need, I'll be in the Telegram group this afternoon. Yeah, hopefully you'll have a good afternoon, and we can get some money out of these moves. So we should get some hopefully decent sell-offs this afternoon. After that, when the New York exchange opens, and then we'll see if we can bank anything else this afternoon. Right, I will see you Monday morning, 7:50 usual time. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you then.